Hello. So today, what I'm going to show you is how to make a simple sliding knot. Now you might be wondering what this is, and obviously, when you look at my table, I've already set the materials that is required, and it is not a lot. A sliding knot is a knot which basically slides, and this is how it's going to look. This way, what happens is that you would require no bead, no external bead to kind of adjust the length of the chain. This knot, as the name goes, slides and both ways. So what happens is you're able to actually wear the chain however long or short you want just by moving these knots. So you don't need to have any kind of a wooden bead. You can just wear your chain, and it's really easy to just put a pendant around this, and it's pretty simple, really easy. And I just thought it might be useful to all of you who probably don't want to use a wooden bead to assemble their chain. So the things that I've laid out here is a scale, a 12-inch ruler, a pair of scissors. This is a cord. Now this particular material, or there's no restriction on the kind of cord, I would think, because I've tried this method with a normal, which is this kind of a cord, which is a nylon cord. You can try using a waxed cotton cord, you can use a leather cord, any kind of cord. There's no problem with that. At least so far I have not seen issues with any of these. I have tried it with this. I've tried it with a thicker normal nylon cord, which I usually use. I have also tried it with a leather cord, and yep, I think that's pretty much it. And with them I have no problems. I think this method works on all of them. I have a pendant here. This is my pendant, and I've just put a jump ring around it, kept it slightly open so that once the assembling is done I can just put it in. You might be wondering what the role of a tea light candle is over here. It's basically to just kind of light the ends, just burn it a bit so that it doesn't get frayed, because this is a nylon cord. But again, if you are using maybe like a leather cord or something, you probably wouldn't have to even use this. And because this is around flame, please be careful, rather please be extra careful. You might be wondering the role of these two green beads. Again, this is an optional thing. I would not say that it's I still think it's optional, because you'll see what I'll do with it once I begin this process. Now the length, let's talk a little bit about the length, and that's probably why having a ruler always helps. The measurement of the cord, because it's all knots. Obviously when you are knotting something, there is a lot of cord that goes into that knot. So that automatically reduces the entire length of the chain. So what you would typically do is, I'm a little extra careful when it comes to such things. So because I don't want to end up with a chain too short, and that just restricts me to wear my chain at a particular length. This way what happens is, at least the option is there for me to wear it either long or short, or all those things. So this is a 12-inch scale, and I have gone like 4 times around it, so which gives me like 12, 12, 12 and 12. So I have like about so that's about 48. Yeah, it's about 48 inches. Now that's the only thing that you need. This cord, by the way, is a 1.18 mm micro cord. This is again just it's a nylon cord, and it does have a tendency to get a little frayed. And it's to avoid that particular fray why we have this. So let's begin. I'll just move all of these things first and only get what is required now. I'll move the pendant as well, because we don't need the pendant for now. So let's actually begin. What I'll do is, so yeah, when I was talking about the length, the reason why I'm taking this length is, I think once the whole piece is done, the chain roughly can be worn at about, I think, 15 to 16 inches, and that's the maximum length. And when I say can be worn, that is in this manner. this length. I'm not talking about measuring from one end to the other. I'm talking about this length. This length is going to be about 16 inches roughly when the chain is done. So that gives you an option. That's the maximum length. So that always gives you an option of wearing your chain at a maximum of 16 inches. And obviously, you know, minimum if you want to shorten it, it's totally up to you at where you want to kind of, you know, where you want to wear your chain. So these are both the ends. We take about 8 inches on the scale, 8 inches till about here. I'm holding it. We overlap both these, one above the other like this, and still holding it. Yeah. Now I take one end of the cord, I move it about so much. I've just turned it this much. I'll actually get the screen a little lower. So what I have done here so far is overlapped it, turned it, I go around the cord once, twice, thrice, one more time, and from under I basically get this out. I get this out gently. Tighten the cord. Just make sure it's really nice and firm, because you know this is the only thing that's obviously going to hold on to that knot. So this is this is a pretty easy knot. Let me show you this side now. Remember that we did only one side, so let's actually do the other end. This end is done. Let's begin doing the other end. We turn, rotate once, rotate twice, the third time, see that? Do one more time. We get it from under this loop. It's coming from under the loop above. Gently push and tighten the cord. Just make sure it's really well done, and if you see it's pretty firm and pretty tight. And if you see, both these ends now have two of these knots, two knots which are quite firmly secure and also adjustable, which will help you wear your chain at any length you want. Now you're probably wondering, okay, this is not a good idea. Obviously not. You don't have to keep it open, and this is where the wooden bead comes in place. So you can choose to either do it this way, where I'm putting a single knot here, put one wooden bead, like that, and then this is like I said, even in the beginning, I told you that this was just an optional step. Just try and knot it here as well. Get the knot as close to the bead as possible. Tighten it. And there. Simple. Now let's do the same thing to this end as well. And because you now have a reference, try to maintain this kind of a distance over here as well. So roughly my knot would come here, the bead would come here. So it's always better so that it's just neat and looks more coordinated. So let's do this side as well. So now I have actually done both the ends. We can trim off a little bit of this. And the same amount from here as well. Now the idea of obviously a lit tea light is just so that you can actually torch this portion. So this helps getting rid of that fray which you kind of don't want. That's it. It's pretty much done. Like a closed neck, or rather a shorter chain, obviously this portion is going to come in the front, which is why I added the wooden bead, because I'm making this for myself and I just thought it'll be good for me to add a little green bead just so that it can go with this particular pendant. Now obviously this is ready, so I can actually choose to pull it this way. There you go, it's done. This is a good length, and this I'll also put the pendant. Actually, before I put the pendant, I can also give you the exact length at which my chain actually can be worn at the maximum. Let's pull it behind. This is the maximum, I would say, that it goes behind. It's pretty long, really long actually. So I have about 12 inches there. Oh wow, okay, it's definitely I think I was expecting it to be roughly about 15-16 inches, but it's definitely more than that. So it's pretty good. I'm getting roughly about 17.5 inches in terms of the length of this chain. See, I've got it down to about this much. It just moves, which is why it's called a sliding knot, like the name suggests. It's really easy, no wooden bead, and let's begin to assemble this pendant as well. It's a simple thing. I mean, it's a jump ring. You've seen me do this a bunch of times. That's it. I have this really simple pendant on a cord which is assembled just by knots. So I really hope you found this video useful, everyone. If yes, then please like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.